Mike Heck here for MMAfighting.com. We're being joined by one of the up-and-coming fighters in the UFC women's bantamweight division. She had a successful octagon debut over the summer, and despite the UFC's attempts to get her back in there, between injuries to her opponent and now a global pandemic, we haven't been able to see that sophomore appearance yet, but I wanted to check in with the Raging Panda, Julia Avila. Julia, how are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but we're gonna get into one incredible thing that you've been doing with this extra time in a couple of minutes. But from a general sense, how have you been enjoying the quarantine life in Oklahoma?
Absolutely nothing has changed for me except that I work from home now. I've been blessed to still have a job, so I'm remote working. I still train an exorbitant amount of times throughout the day. My home gym would put most, big box gyms to shame. So I'm, still working out, still keeping healthy, still training. I have I'm co-quarantining. So there's a very, very few people that I still see, and some of them are my main training partners. So, things really haven't changed for me.
You see in some states, like, people are starting to lose their minds a little bit. Like, let's open things up. Like, we're all going to be okay. And then others are like, no, better safe than sorry. Like, Massachusetts is really stepping up their game right now. Now everyone has to wear masks in public places, like, all the time. So, how is Oklahoma in that sense? Is everyone just kind of dealing with everything and trying to be patient with it? Or is everyone just ready to break down the doors of their house and get outside and live normal again?
So the people that I talk to on, a semi-regular basis, that most of the gym goers for the several gyms, they're still kind of a little hesitant to go out. Many of them either have family members that are high risk. I have a very close family member that's high risk. And so we're all keeping careful. A lot of people were wearing masks. I was handing them out left and right. I had a couple left over at the post office when I was shipping, and I was like, here, do you guys have masks? Take them. So I think Oklahoma, all in all, they're ready, but they're cautiously dipping their toe in the water.
That makes sense. And this has been an interesting last few months for you, because the last time we spoke was right after the new year, and the fight with Carol Rosa was already scheduled for April 18th in Portland before all the COVID-19 stuff started rearing its ugly head. And we find out the event was postponed. And then maybe a week or two later, we find out that you're still going to fight Carol, but on May 2nd in a location somewhere on Earth, and then everything got postponed again. So as someone who really wants to get back in the cage and compete, how difficult has this all been for you as a professional fighter?
It's been crazy. And it was actually, so Portland was rescheduled from the original date in October. So
that's right. Yeah, because you're supposed to fight in Singapore too, right?
Yeah. So I was scheduled to fight Carol 3 times. Contract signed and everything, and never came to fruition. So honestly, I've said this from the get-go, I'll fight anyone at any time. I'm ready. I think within, a reasonable camp, couple weeks, then I should be good to go.
So we're recording this on the night of May 1st. So tomorrow, as we speak, you were supposed to be fighting. Do you not even just look at dates on the calendar anymore?
No, I don't really have an off season anyways. I've told you this before,
Right.
I'm just constantly going. The only issue for me is that with the amount of activity that I like to do, I consume a lot calorically. so I just need those couple of weeks to make sure that everything is good, because I am a professional and I don't plan on missing weight anytime ever. So I'm always prepared.
We'll dive more into the fighting in a moment, but the main reason I wanted to have you on, and you sort of mentioned it before, is because especially in this space that we're in, it can be a very negative place. And you have been doing something very positive and incredible over the last month or so. So to sort of lay down the groundwork, a month seems like a year right now. But in March, people were fighting in the stores for toilet paper, supplies were low, and even personal protection equipment, which is still so crucial right now. Those are really hard to come by, still is, as a matter of fact. But you decided to be part of the solution. Tell the folks, what have you been up to over the last month or so?
So over the last month, I have been making face masks. I have a sewing machine. I got it years ago. I I'm so I said this to someone else. As much as I love to destroy in the ring, I really love to create. I'm a very artsy person, and I like to just make things. So um, one day I saw on Facebook that a hospital had requested a face mask and asked for seamstresses. And I looked at the mask, I looked at the pattern, and I said, I can do that. I have the material, I have the stuff. And so I went ahead and I made a couple, and it was pretty fast. And then I hit up Grandma. I was like, Grandma, do you have these materials? And she said, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's make face masks. And so she started making a couple, and I blazed through them, right? I made 70 in one day. I go, hey, Grandma, do you have any more material? And she goes, yeah, you already went through all that? I said, yeah, people need these. She's like, well, how many did you do? I told her 70. She said, just take all of it. I don't even want to help anymore. So I'm just cranking through them. And I saw that people on the neighborhood app, I saw that people were charging for them. And I said, no. I will never charge for your safety, because your safety is my safety, right? So the people that were charging, I hit them up. I, direct message them, and I said, hey, I'll give you some for free. Just drive by my house and, pick them up off the porch. I have a gun. I'm not fearing for my safety. So, so I just started handing them out, and I posted on my Instagram, if anyone needs any masks. I did fundraise for my Portland fight, and I had the money, and every penny has gone towards making masks. So, and for shipping, I've hit up several military bases and made hundreds for them all across the U.S. So coast to coast, border to border. My brother lives in Brooklyn with his husband, and so I had, I sent them some. I have family in California. I have a lot of first responders that are family that are first responders. So I just started making them, and a lot of old high school friends, they're hitting me up, and I said, yeah, here, take them. How many do you want? How many do you need? What's your address? And I'll get them out as soon as I can. So I work full time, train full time, and whenever I get 5 minutes here or there, I make face masks.
How many do you think you've made? I mean, it's probably hard to count each and every one that you've made, but ballparking it, how many do you think you've made so far?
Over 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's tough because, with everything you do with masks, take my wife, for example, she manages a very busy periodontal office in Massachusetts, and, they're deemed essential, but only in emergency situations only. But, members of the state dental board wanted all of these businesses to donate all of their masks to hospitals and other essential offices. And that's great. And we all understand why. But, what if emergencies came in and there's no masks? And what if all the restrictions got suddenly lifted? There's no masks. So now you can't see any patients. You can't even open up. So things have been pretty hairy throughout all of this. But luckily, people like yourself have gotten very creative. You like to create these things. And it's something, especially with the mask, not a lot of us thought about before. And it's something we really took for granted before all this happened, right?
Yeah. And it's one of those crafts that are really, they're getting lost, like home ec. A lot of people don't know how to cook anymore. A lot of people don't know how to change their oil. A lot of people don't know how to sew. I really think it's something that a couple of my fans, they're like, hey, you motivated me to go buy. So they Amazoned a sewing machine. They taught themselves, and they're now making face masks. So, if I can spark just a little change in a couple people, to try something new or to help out, then I've done my job.
And speaking of the fans, you've gotten a lot of support with all of this, just with people sending you different supplies to assist you with this. And these masks, they're going anywhere and everywhere. Like you said, coast to coast. If they're needed, you're finding a way to get to them. What has that meant to you to have everybody just kind of chip in and help you out here?
Oh, it's been amazing. I have so many loyal and just good fans. They're not following me because they think I'm a pretty face. They don't follow me because I'm a good fighter, well, hopefully they think I am, but they follow me because they like me as a person. And, that speaks to them. That speaks to the quality of them more than it does about me. And they've been really, really coming through and supporting and helping out. If anything, just to say thank you. Like, that means the world to me. I manage all of my social media platforms, and so I get to read all of the comments, all of the positive and negative, and it's just been overwhelmingly positive. Just for people to see that there's hope.
Well said. What's the furthest that you've gotten a photo that one of your masks has appeared in? Like, is there one photo you've gotten, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe it's gotten this far?
Canada.
So you're leaving the country now too.
Yeah. Coast to coast, border to border, and 2 in Canada.
Wow. Is it kind of surreal once you saw the Canada pictures? You're just like, whoa, this is just wild right now.
I'm just glad that I'm making a difference.
You see, we're seeing what Conor is doing in Ireland and the news that it's made, and you're getting a lot of support from your fans with this. And, it's just incredible what both of you guys are doing. And I know you're not looking for a pat on the back. It's just something that you've been compelled to do, and you're inspiring other people to do that. And I'm going to give you a pat on the back anyways. But, what has this all meant for you? Because, you're not looking for a lot of credit here, but you're making a difference, and that still has to feel good, even though you're not looking for that kind of credit. You know what I mean?
Right. I pursued fighting just because I felt like it was the platform that I knew I could reach the most amount of people. And this was just another opportunity for me to do that. And I think the hardest, what would hurt me the most is to not be remembered. And when I die, I just want to be remembered. And I think positively. And so like I said, if I make that one difference for one person, then it's all been worth it.
So you're working full time, making masks, you're still training, you're still lifting weights, you're still busting out squats, you're getting ready in case that call does come again from the UFC brass. You're not really asking for it. You're just staying ready. And once that call comes, you're going to be ready to go as long as the time frame is appropriate. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Earlier today, on this Friday, May 1st, we saw Dana White talk to ESPN, and we saw a good chunk of the May 13th and the May 16th events get revealed. And, just kind of looking at the number of fights, there's likely to be more added on to both of those cards. And from everything I hear, May 23rd is out there, June 6th is out there. Have you been approached at all with anything at this point?
At this point, unfortunately, no. But I know a lot of other people are very hungry to get back in the cage, and a lot of other fighters need it. Again, I've been blessed to have my primary career, and so it's not a need for me to get back in that cage. It's just a want. Sooner rather than later. I'm not getting any younger, and I definitely want to make my claim in the bantam division. And I can't do that, being at home. So hopefully I get something in the near future, June maybe. But if anyone's willing to step up, I'm right here.
I know you've mentioned before you're in anywhere, anytime, like whoever it is, like I'm ready to fight. But with Carol out of the picture and a lot of the international fighters pretty much out of the picture right now, and it's still hard to even call anybody out at this point or hard to predict the future, but some opportunities could open up for you here, because if you look at some different ranking systems, you're in the top 15 and in some of the sites' different rankings at 135 right now. So you could have an opportunity to step up a couple of slots. Do you even look at the rankings right now? Is there anyone that might stick out that could make sense to you, or you just don't even care at this point?
I mean, I really don't even care. I really look up to Angela Overkill. And I kind of want to be like her and just be like, hey, Dana, give me a fight. I'll be there. But, I want to fight someone that's responsible. I don't think jumping into the top 5 would be very responsible for me to do. I need to gain that ring, especially in the UFC, because it's completely different. But I need to gain that ring experience. And so, top 15, anyone really. I think I have to believe that I can beat all of them. So I do.
Well, hopefully we can see you back in there soon. But
Thank you.
especially because it's funny, people ask me all the time, like, when's Julia Avila going to fight again? I'm like, I don't know right now. Like, nobody really knows anything. But I do want to bring this up because the last time we spoke, it's something that I remember through a lot of these interviews. You were very emotional when you spoke about your husband being deployed for the first time since you guys have been together, and it was understandably a very difficult time for you. But now he's back, and you get to spend all the time in the world with him because everyone's under quarantine right now. So how great has it been to have him back home?
It's been so amazing. He actually came back, or the night that he came back, that very next day, they closed the borders to where he was at, and so the U.S. citizens that were there are like there for a couple of months, I think. So it was pretty scary, and I'm so blessed that my soldier's back. It's been really nice. He kind of reins me in. If he weren't around, I would overtrain because that's just what I do. And so he kind of like, even today, he said, I did a conditioning round while he was sleeping. And he's like, I'm going to have to put a padlock on all the gear and stuff to keep you from doing things. But it's really nice. I'm super blessed to have him around, and super blessed to have just his knowledge and his strength around me.
Can he sew? Is he helping you make masks at all, or?
No, he watches from afar. He keeps my coffee filled and my wine glass filled. So
see, he's essential right now.
Oh yeah.
100%. Julia, always a pleasure to have you on, especially on a Friday night. First time you've joined me on the new platform here, and it's certainly not going to be the last. I think what you're doing is amazing. I think a lot of people agree with me on that. So keep it up, keep fighting the good fight, keep staying positive, because Lord knows we all need that right now. So I hope you get a fight book soon and that it actually happens this time. All the best to you, the husband, the dogs, everybody else. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Hey, stay clean, but fight filthy.
That's right. I'm going to hang that on my wall.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Julia.
Yeah.